Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by and listening to something I have to say on here. Your time is very precious to me, and the fact that you listen to me is appreciated. Before I get into it, I just want to say that what I say in this audio video is based on my opinions and perspective of what's going on. In no way is it directly related to facts, although some of the facts I provide might give a clearer picture of some of uh, what's going on in Syria education wise. But just treat my statements as opinions because there are a lot of things I don't know about this. I don't have any special insight. I'm going by what I observe. So recently, YouTuber Chantal, better known as Foodie Beauty, posted a video, and in addition to a previous post describing how she raised close to $1,100 for a young disabled girl in Syria, whose name reportedly starts with S. She claims the name is fake for the child's protection, though no clear proof was given. From the beginning, there was no transparency about where the money would go. No receipts were offered before or after donations were collected. Now, what's concerning to me is that her audience didn't seem to question this lack of accountability. That alone, again, should raise red flags, especially considering Foodie's documented history of instability and dishonesty. She has absolutely no connections to any NGO or human rights group that would have helped with S's educational needs. Foodie has a known pattern of aligning herself with chaotic situations and people, often for shock value or personal gain. In my opinion, she thrives on manipulation, and it gives her a twisted thrill to rip people off, in my opinion. In this particular case, she claimed the funds were to be used for school fees, clothes, and supplies for the child. However, she also said she wouldn't show receipts because it might compromise the security of those involved. But if she truly cared about security, she wouldn't have put this child in harm's way in the first place, especially by featuring her image and discussing her online in a live stream format. Now, I want to go back to the situation about fees, clothes, and supplies. Food, these are just talking points for Chantel that she probably pulled from some advertisement somewhere, from some NGO organization that promises to give these things. Okay, I don't think that she really cared about what S's parents needed for their daughter. Now, things like uniforms, I don't know if they still require school uniforms in Syria because sometimes the human rights groups or these organizations that help children become reintegrated in school and society, especially after war and stuff. Some of the restrictions on clothing or those expectations are relaxed for a time until a space is restabilized, a place is restabilized. So I don't know about that. But I'm going to get into the details about how Syrian schools are, especially um, where children with disabilities stand, and how grossly underfunded they are, that schools for children with disabilities or developmental disabilities don't seem to exist. And if it does, you know, just a few thousand kids might be able to have access to that, but because of dilapidation and war, a lot of these schools were destroyed. I mean, schools in general were destroyed. And so the infrastructure itself would not be accessible or safe for any student, and it would be hard for children with disabilities to be able to physically access the schools because of all the other problems that are going on. This is the complex nature. Foodie would not understand that because she is not, she does this crap online for show for herself. She's not interested in understanding what humanity needs. Her sociopathy, in my opinion, is so great that no one else's needs matters other than hers, and that she should be the center of attention. Um, okay. Now, I want to go back with children with disabilities and their vulnerability. So, children with disabilities, particularly in war torn countries like Syria, are among the most vulnerable populations in the world. Publicly posting a photo or video of S in that environment without clear consent or protection. And when I say clear consent, that means that the parents may not understand what YouTube is about and the level of predatory behavior against children YouTube seems to foster, seems to even support without real um, remedies for that. So, and this creates serious security risks for the child: exploitation, community backlash, social isolation, and even violence. Now, here's another issue. Are there even functioning specialized schools for disabled children in Syria? According to the current data, only 1 to 3% um, of schools in Syria are inclusive. So, virtually inclusive education is almost non existent now. Half the children with disabilities aren't even enrolled, and the other half will have a hard time accessing those schools. Most public schools, again, are damaged or destroyed, and few specialized programs that still exist serve only small numbers of children and are mostly, again, run by international NGOs like UNICEF or Pro Terra Sancta, not individuals. So, who is Foodie supposedly working with to get this child in the school? She never really talks about that. She never mentions the name of an organization, a school, or a teacher. Nothing. This makes her story even more questionable. Meanwhile, she says she wants to keep the child's life private and safe, or I should say secure. Yet she also wants to share updates about the child's schooling progress online. I mean, of course, that's a clear contradiction. True ethical support would mean protecting the child's privacy and not using her to keep a social media arc alive, in my opinion. It's also my opinion that this entire thing was a scam to begin with, yet another in a long line. She likely used the security excuse not to protect the child, but to avoid providing receipts because the money wasn't used for its stated purpose. Since this so called fundraiser, she's been seen eating and engorging herself with fast food again, and apparently staying in an air conditioned hotel, possibly in Doha, Qatar. And I can't remember who blew the lid on this. And it could have been, the camera setting could have been intentional. Because, Foodie, she giggles and laughs when she thinks she's pulled a fast one on somebody. That money likely covered her travel and living expenses there and not to this child's education. Foodie recently edited a YouTube post to mock people accusing her of misusing the funds, saying that she finds it hilarious. This isn't a laughing matter. Not at all. I don't know why she would find it funny, but she's disgusting. What can I say? She also claimed critics don't get to have a say unless they've contributed, which implies that even those who did contribute have no right to question how the money was spent. Huge red flags. Now, from what I understand, people are requesting PayPal chargebacks and reporting her, and rightfully so. They have a right to demand accountability. But Chantel is lashing out, trying to deny others financial agency while exercising none of her own integrity. She claims to care, but she leaves families in precarious situations and then disappears. This isn't charity. This isn't kindness. This is exploitation. And it's not the first time. Now, she could have used her own money if she truly wanted to help, but this current arc isn't bringing in the income like it used to. So she chose to extract it from her audience under false pretenses. These are my opinions as well. So in the end, I believe she does enjoy scamming people. She gets a thrill out of it. She enjoys control, and she does all of this under the guise of good deeds, good intentions, while placing the most vulnerable, disabled children in a war zone at risk. That's not just unethical, it's horrifying. Foodie, in my opinion, is not only a financial predator, but a predator all around, and she should not be around animals, vulnerable children, and families, in my opinion. Thank you for listening.